do it. Evening all. How's everybody doing tonight? Welcome to Inside Spurs Minds, the show where we will deep dive into the real stories and opinions within the Tottenham fan base. Each episode, I'll sit down with a different Spurs fan to explore what drives their passion, their expectations, and how they see the future under Thomas Frank. From favourite players to footballing values, this is honest, personal, no filter Tottenham talk. Now, let's welcome in our fourth guest of the series, Hollie. Now, you must have seen her on YouTube over the years. You know she's passionate and a committed Spurs fan, always backing the team with real positivity. So it's great to have you on, Hollie. How are you doing? And thank you for jumping on.
No, thank you for having me. I must say I need to up my intro game because that was unreal. I really enjoyed that. But no, thank you for inviting me on. I'm excited to get in all things Spurs and kind of dissect my brain. So I think sometimes I do actually need to think what I'm thinking about. So it'd be nice to chat with you tonight.
It's great. Yeah, lovely to meet you. And I hope you enjoy yourself. Big up to everybody in the chat. I'll say a few hellos in a minute. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to myself and Hollie. I'm going to get a link up shortly. Yeah, guys, get involved throughout the night. What we're talking about. Good to hear what you think of the different questions, and yeah, give us your takes on it all. It'll be fantastic. So I hope you all enjoy yourselves watching this. So Leah, let's have a look and see who's with us tonight. Let's go into the chat and say hello to a few people. Here we go. So we've got Mark. Big up, Mark. Hope you're good, man. Nige. Hi, big up, Dan and Hollie. Have a great show. Smash those likes. Cheers, man. Thank you. Hope you're good, man. Jimmy Hotspurs here. Hello, Jimmy. Big up, Dan and the chat. Good evening, everybody. And Corey Boy's here. Big up, Corey Boy. Big up, all. Hope you're good. Let's see if anyone else is here. That's it. Great. Well, thank you for all joining us. We're going to crack on. So the first question of the evening, Hollie, is what's the moment that truly hooked you into supporting Spurs? And if it happened today, do you think you will still have the same effect?
Cool. What's a question? So I kind of got into football a bit late. I kind of started playing football at primary school. I think I was the only girl on the football team. And in that time, my dad was trying to push me to like football, and he's obviously a Spurs fan, so he got me into it. So I would probably say the first time that kind of hooked me, which is a bit cliche, is the '08 kind of final for us that we went on to win, obviously with King as the captain, etc., etc. So that was probably the first time that hooked me. But I think the first time that I actually thought, yeah, this is my club, was when I actually got to watch Sonny play his first home game against Crystal Palace. Again, quite late, but when I was younger, I was quite high in my football career, so I didn't get to go to games as much. So probably my dad taking me on my 16th birthday to watch Sonny grass the pitch at White Hart Lane for the first time was magical for me.
Wow, yeah, amazing. And do you think you'd still feel like that today? This sort of feeling, if do you think it had the same effect on you?
I think so, 100%. I think my dad taking me to any football game would make me feel like that. But I think it was more the fact that his dad supported Spurs, then he supported Spurs. They used to go together, and then he took me. So it was kind of like, regardless of what Tottenham game I went to, I'd still have that feeling.
Oh, great stuff. Yeah, special memories, eh? So, how old are you when you went to your first game?
I think it was 16. It sounds awful to think I'm 27 now, and the first game I watched was like 11 years ago in the flesh. But my dad used to always watch me play football. That was the thing. I played national level in football, so for me, weekends were kind of taken up by that. So I never really got to watch Spurs play in the flesh, if that made sense.
Yeah.
So that is the first kind of time.
Okay, good answer. Good answer. It's good to know, people's kind of backgrounds, experience of Spurs growing up. It's very, thinking back now with family and no, it's fantastic stuff. That's good answers, Hollie. So let's go to question 2. When has Sporting Spurs tested your loyalty the most, and how did you rationalise staying committed?
Well, I think that's quite easy in recent years with Mr. Levy at the helm and stuff. I think for me, it was probably the Super League. I think that got me a lot in the sense that we were potentially going to go into it. And I did test my loyalty. Well, it kind of tested our loyalty to a sense of the fact that it's Tottenham's our football club and they're going to sell the soul to the Super League. So that did really test my kind of, what's the words, patience. Luckily, it didn't go ahead. It didn't happen because I went to the protest. There was lots of people that went to the protest for that. So that's probably the one time that I've actually sat there and think this is not my football club. So I'm glad that obviously was evaded and that didn't happen. But yeah, that was probably the one time that I have been pulling my hair out, I think. And it's happened a lot, but that's probably the most.
So that's interesting. So it was that Super League that really kind of got to you. Why? Could you just give us a little bit more reasons why that particular, reason for you kind of really got to you?
I think it was because Tottenham's a club that should be playing football in obviously the Premier League, not any league in England, but it should be in England. We shouldn't be going abroad and playing games purely because it's financial gain in that kind of sense. I don't want to be a fan having to travel abroad to watch my game play at the weekend, or missing games, missing family because of that. I'd rather go and watch us play in the Premier League. And I think for me, that was kind of the thing. I was like, this isn't what Tottenham was created to be. I don't think. And you see that other teams that were kind of in it as well. And I'm like, yeah, okay, you're high stature of your realms of playing football, but that's not what football's for. Football is for the working man, woman, whatever. It's not to spend loads of money. And we do that anyway to support Spurs, but not to do that abroad in these games that are so seen as the best competition, if that's so to speak. I mean, we've kind of seen the same with this FIFA Football World Cup in a kind of sense. So I guess that's kind of the subcategory towards this Super League not being a thing. But yeah, that just really got my goat, I think.
Yeah, fair enough. Look, just go back to that question. So, I mean, it never happened, did it, the Super League? And it was around the time Mourinho got sacked, isn't it, before that cup final? Any links there, do you think, with that? Anything to do with that?
Possibly. I mean, that's still, to this day, the thing that winds me up as well, the sense that we were 4 days before a final and he gets the axe, so we didn't have to pay out any money if he won it. So yeah, that it's just things with Spurs that I can't sometimes get my head around, that they think that's a good idea, especially where we've been not so much recent times with Johnson again at LA, but prior to that, in terms of where we could be if we invested a bit more, or rather than taking a cut on something, we could have won a trophy much sooner. Because don't get me wrong, the football under Jose wasn't great, but if there was a man I wanted us in a final prior, Ange, then it would be Jose. You know what I mean?
Well, that's crazy, Hollie. Who could believe it? Like sacking him right before the final. I mean, that's madness, absolute madness. I mean, how did you feel when that happened?
Again, I just kind of go to the corner of the room and stare at the wall, because what can you do with this club? They just seem to amaze me all the time. But no, you're right. Maybe it was around the same sort of time in terms of you had the Super League coming out, then you had a sacking a manager 4 days before a final. Like, it just was a cluster of loads of different things.
Oh dear, yeah, crazy times. Yeah, good answer again. Let's jump to the next question. Let's go. Let's have a look. So, what about this one? Do you think that gender plays a role in how you are perceived as a fan in terms of your opinions of the club and its management? So it's quite a deep question there, Hollie. So take your time. What do you think?
I was going to say, geez, you're going to go easy on me or what? But no, it's fine. For me personally, I'm a bit of a different egg, I would say, to most people. In terms of gender, like before I streamed on YouTube, I streamed on Twitch. I used to play FIFA. And obviously you get the comments that come in that aren't very nice, this, that, and the other, but I don't really take it to heart. And I probably am not the best person to ask, because I kind of take everything with a pinch of salt in terms of that kind of thing. So for me personally, I would say no. I don't really ever feel that what I say gets judged in a different way because I'm a girl, if that makes sense. And I'm also like, if you don't like it, that's fine. Like, you can air your opinion, I'll air mine. It is what it is. But in terms of the club and its management, I mean, I think I've already said already on this show that for me, I'm not happy with the way things have been run in the past with management, etc., etc. So yeah, I would kind of say I don't sit on the fence. I say what I think, but you'll also get to know that I'm probably okay at answering your questions, but I'm a lot better at being a host, because I can sit on the fence, if that makes sense, because I like to get other people's opinions involved.
You think
So
you're
you're very,
quite balanced, Hollie. You like to think you're balanced with your opinions.
yeah, I would say so. And I don't think gender really plays a role if you're either female or male or whatever. I just think opinions are opinions at the end of the day.
Yeah, well, that's good. So you haven't had any real like horrible kind of experiences whilst being on, on YouTube, social media. You've been okay.
I think so. And the thing is, if I get something in, the best way to deal with that's how I deal with it, is just laugh it off or say a joke back or go along with it. And then they soon get bored, which is how I've kind of dealt with things like that in the past. But I would say I haven't been one of these people that have been ridiculed for certain things, etc., etc. I just kind of do me. And if you don't like it, so be it.
No, well, that's good, because the online world can be very cruel at times, and it's good to hear that you've had a good experience on the whole, which it's really nice to hear, Hollie. Honestly, it is, because you see it all day long, all the stuff what goes on, especially on X.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of bad stuff. Let's say a few hellos. I just want to say hello to Simon. Evening to you. Thank you for joining us. Hollie is a very good guest to interview. Thank you very much, mate. Say evening to Paul. Evening, Paul. Good evening to Dan and Hollie. Hope all is well. Thanks, Paul. Hope you're good, man. And this is Hollie's link to the channel. So if you haven't subscribed to her, please go over and give her a sub. Right, let's go on. So hopefully the next one will be a little bit less deep, Hollie. I know, because some good questions really test you. You as a Spurs fan, and get you thinking. So this one, let's have a go with this one. Question number 4. What does Tottenham DNA mean to you? Does it still matter in 2025? Or is that a myth fans cling on to?
Cool. What a question. Wowee. Well, the easy answer is to say to there is to do. And I think the season just gone, especially in our Europa League, we won't talk about the Premier League. We definitely did that because obviously we saw a lot of division in terms of us and the players. Not all of us, just going back to X, there was a lot of division, and they managed to battle through. And at the end of it, we came through with a trophy. And I feel that was a lot of today is to do. But for me, I think the biggest thing I found, especially obviously starting to do content, and meeting people. It's just a community. Like, I know I currently live in Portsmouth, so for me it's quite a long way to go to watch Spurs games, and I try and go as much as I can. But I know if I go out there by myself, if my other half doesn't come, I know when I'm up there I can go to the pub and I'll bump into someone, or I'll go to the South Stand and someone will come and say hello. And I think for me, as much as I want us to win, we all want to win. I think as well it's important we've got that community, because I think community breeds and feeds winners. And I think for me, that's probably the new identity I'd kind of have with Spurs, if that makes sense.
Okay, so you're not like it has to be attacking football, you know, to win cups or progress. Are you kind of more like, as long as we're kind of making progress, you can see something working, something coming together, or are you kind of like, like a lot of Spurs fans speak about, we must play attacking football, you know, that's the only way, or you kind of, I don't know, just tell us a little bit more.
I think for me, obviously, everybody loves attacking football. Everybody loves football that excites them. And don't get me wrong, I'm that too. But I'm, after spending so many years with us being so close to winning something and it all falling apart, whatever gets trophies, whatever makes us winners, I'm here for it. And I think and luckily we've managed to do that under Ange. But a lot of people would say in the Premier League, it was high risk, not a lot of reward. Whereas in Europa, we managed to do it because I think he adapted the way he played at change. As much as he won't admit it, there was times when you could see little subtle changes. So for me, I'm all for, yes, as much as I love attacking football, as much as that has been our DNA, I'm up for just winning anything at all costs. I don't really care what that looks like, as long as I've got a trophy at the end of it.
Yeah, I think I'm a bit like that really. Now I just don't really care what the style of play is, as long as we win. Obviously, I prefer attacking football. We all would, right? But you know, like when we had Conte, we had Mourinho. It was different, wasn't it? For change from Pochettino. Now I just think it just gets to the point. The older you get, we haven't won many trophies, have we? Really? I mean, there's 4 in my lifetime, hardly any. And you get to the point now where you just want to win, right? You just want to see something working. We know about all the constraints under Levy. So you just need a manager to come in there, really set his stall out, get the team organised, have a good system. And we'll talk a bit about Thomas Frank a bit later. But no, it's interesting to hear. Let's move this on to the next question. So it's a little bit similar to that, really, to be honest. Do you prioritise entertaining football, winning trophies, or long-term identity? And has that priority shifted over the years? It's quite similar to the last question.
Yeah, I would say so. I don't think my other half Jay's really helped, because he
a Spurs fan, Hollie?
He's a Spurs fan, but he can't stand Pochettino. So what I'm probably going to say now is he's going to be jumping for joy at this. But I think it's shifted after we had Poch, and as much as we enjoyed that football, it's the best football we've seen, we didn't win anything. And I think that's what's now ingrained in me. I don't care how we play as long as we win. And I think that for me is probably because I'm getting older and I'm getting impatient. But that's how I kind of see Spurs now. I'd love us to continue playing the Poch way, but how long would that have lasted till we won something? Because we didn't under him. We were under him for a very long time. And I know there's lots of talk about, oh, he wasn't backed, he wasn't given the players he wanted. But sadly, that's football sometimes. And you've got to work with what you've got. And there were so many good players Pochettino had, and we didn't win anything. So, yeah, for me, I'm not that fussed in what our identity looks like, as long as we're winning things, because that's what you remember.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I think fans would just want to win now. The majority of them. Yeah, of course, attacking football. We love Pochettino's football. You know, Harry Redknapp, Martin Jol. You know, they're kind of most popular managers for me as the time of supporting Spurs. Would you say, was that a bit similar to you, Hollie, those managers, or was there another manager along the way that you really, really fond of?
I would say Harry Redknapp. I just actually read his biography on holiday, and I just love how Harry is in terms of his character. I think that kind of instilled itself within Tottenham as well. I think it's also not just how the way you play, but the way you manage your players, in terms of that kind of backroom, not backroom staff, but that kind of background mentality that they kind of have within the dressing room, how they are. And I think we've seen that a lot last season in terms of how everybody's coming together. So I would say Harry Redknapp's probably up there with one of my favourite, just because Harry's Harry, I think.
Oh yeah, look, he took us to levels that we hadn't seen for many years, right? He qualified us for the Champions League, exciting football, Oh yeah, they were great. How long was he there for? What, 3 years, 4 years was it
I
roughly?
think so. My
Yeah,
my brain is not very good at
yeah,
memories.
and yeah, fantastic times as a Spurs fan, and yeah, he took us to a level we hadn't seen before. Let's go to the chat. Corby Boy says the DNA changes with every evolution or stage football goes through. Every manager has his style or how he holds himself as a manager. The right charter and fit has to fit for the fans to back. Okay, interesting answer. You're always going to get fans disagreeing with style of play, managers, players. It's, but I think as a fan base, we all just want to win, right? And we want to see the club going in that kind of forward progression, season in season out, improving and seeing in players improve, and and hopefully go on and win something. But it has been very difficult the last 17 years up until this season, finally winning the trophy. I just hope that there are some changes at in the board level around recruitment. Frank gets supported much better than Ange did in the summer. So we're all waiting here eagerly, seeing what this transfer window is going to look like. So big up to Peter in the chat. Hi all, 4:35 a.m. in Melbourne. Hope you're good. Big up to Eugene. Hope you're good, man. Yeah, it's good having you on the other day. We had a good show. And he's saying big up to Hollie as well. And big up Roy Park. Big up Dan and Hollie. Evening to you. Hope you're good. And big up to Nita. Hi Dan, Hollie in chat. I hope you're good, Nita. Right, let's get another question. Oh, one more. Let's say hello to Terry. Hello, Terry. Thanks for being here. Big up Dan and Hollie. Right, let's jump to the next question now. Okay, so this one's fun. Right, name a Spurs player you absolutely love watching that others didn't rate, or one the fan base adored but you never brought into.
Oh my
Well, you could
days.
do both if you want. It's up to you.
Let's go with the first one. I mean, people did rate him for a little bit, and then totally went off him. That's Harry Winks. If you don't know my love affair with Harry Winks, where have you been? I mean, he did have a lot of football that was sideways, a bit like a crab. But that Champions League night against Real Madrid, oh my word, was absolutely insane. And to this day, I still cling on to that fact that he was nuts. So it would have to be Harry Winks for me. I think I just loved him.
Well, he came from the youth academy, right? So he was like, through the club. He was from Hemel Hempstead, right? And look, Poch, he was okay under Poch, right? Didn't he? He was playing a lot of games, and that game against I remember one Real Madrid, isn't it? At Wembley, right? Is that the one you just said?
Yeah, that was the one, because funny enough, I won a competition to be the flag bearer in the middle of the centre circle. But I was positioned so that I could see the players coming out of the tunnel.
Wow, that's
Obviously,
crazy.
see Ronaldo come out. I weren't fussed about that. I just wanted to see Harry Winks come out the tunnel. So that was my life made after that moment.
Did you get some good pictures? Did anyone get some pictures of that of
No,
you
the
or
thing
not?
was, at the time, I was just so besotted that I was there. Obviously, I've got pictures of me outside the stadium, me in my tracksuit and stuff, but I don't actually have like any pictures of me with any of the players and stuff. But it's still like I think I've still got the recording that Jay took from the stands of me coming out and stuff. And if you zoom in, because obviously back then, a while ago, obviously cameras weren't that good to zoom in, so you can sort of work out my pixelated face.
That's crazy. That's such a good experience. That's amazing. Wow, how did that come about? You just lucky
I
or got
just
lucky with it, or
I just pretty much entered a competition with Nissan, and I apparently got selected at random. So I was like, okay, thanks.
wow, that's crazy. What about a player that that the fan base generally liked, but you never really bought into? Is there anyone you can think of at the top of your head?
Let me have a think. So difficult. There probably is low. I'll probably come off this and be like, yep, him.
That doesn't matter. You don't have to think of one. It's just if there was one off the top of your head, we can move to the next question. Who is your favourite player of all time? Hollie.
It'll have to be Gareth Bale. Easy. Gareth Bale. I think that was because at the time, I was playing as right mid. Obviously, I know at the time he chips it about everywhere, but I was playing right mid, and in my bedroom, I used to have a massive wall picture of him. So he just, the way he progressed, obviously from playing at the back, then moving up more upfield, and then kind of basically carrying the whole Spurs team on his back for that season that he had was just immense. And I'll always remember, now I always get confused between AC and Inter, but when he kicked the ball off and then ran off the pitch and then got it the other side, I will never ever forget that. So Bale for me is up there as one of my all-time favourite players for Spurs.
Who would you say he is? Would you? Anybody come close?
For me personally, no, because of what he kind of did after leaving us. Obviously, I was devastated when he left to Real Madrid. And again, he didn't really get much playing time when he was kind of sat on the bench and stuff. But when he came on and scored that absolutely incredible goal in the Champions League, I was like, that's it. He's up there in lights. That's my Bale. So yeah, it'd have to be Gareth Bale for me. Which is probably showing my kind of age as well, because obviously there's loads of amazing players that you can name prior Bale. But for me personally, it was Bale.
And look, he what a player, right? What a player, Gareth Bale. I mean, there was that one season under AVB where he just practically won the show, didn't he? Match winner after match winner. Oh, what a player he was. And he was going to go and get that move to Real Madrid eventually, wasn't he? And unfortunately, Spurs didn't match his ambition. And yeah, crazy. Yeah, fantastic player. And then he came back, didn't he, under Mourinho, but he was benched most of the time. Still scored a few goals, right?
He did. Only a few though. Was that during lockdown as well? So I didn't actually get a chance to go and see him play either. So
yeah. Yeah, it's good. It's great. Yeah, great player. Yeah, fantastic. One of my best as well. One of my favourites. When I did best 11 with the 2 marks show, he was in the side. Yeah, 100%. He gave me, when you're watching football, Hollie, it's those moments in games that get you off your seat. Wow moments, excitement, crazy goals. I remember that last minute one against West Ham, at their ground. You remember that one? Absolutely wild. Oh, there were so many. The Inter Milan game in the Champions League. I mean, there's been so many of them where he's just scored brilliant goals. I mean, I saw something on, I don't know where it was, maybe X, I think, of his top 5 goals. Absolutely unbelievable. What goals he scored. Did you have a favourite Bale goal?
So many. I would have to go back to the Inter one, purely because it just took the whole game by storm. And that just kind of propelled him onto that kind of European world stage, so to speak. But I honestly, like I say, just picked everybody up, put them in his backpack and said, let me get on with it. And he did that a lot, I suppose, especially towards the end of his time at Tottenham before he had that move.
Yeah, brilliant stuff. And that's kind of where he introduced himself to the world, right? In that away game. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was that hat trick, right? Fantastic. Oh, even though we lost the game, we were still like going crazy, weren't we? Like, wow, look at this. Oh, that's madness. All right, let's go to the next question. Let's have a look, see which one I'm going to ask you now. Okay, let's go to Thomas Frank. Right, and I just want to get your take on him. So with Thomas Frank in charge, what is your minimum he must achieve this season to keep you on side?
My word. See, this is such a weird question because obviously I feel like the standard is so high now because Ange got the sack not because he won a trophy, but he won a trophy, got the sack anyway because our league position was awful. And it was awful. Don't get me wrong, but it's going to be a hard one to kind of decide where I kind of pin him purely because our league form was so bad and we've just won a trophy. So for me to be kept on side, obviously needs to be improvement in the league. I would like to finish, whether we will know or not, 7th or 6th, considering how poor we were in the league. I want to see us to go on and have a good cup run. We have to be in some form of the later stages of a cup this season. I'm not saying we're going to win one, but the fact that for a long time, the excuse kind of was we haven't really got any winners in our team, apart from a few in terms of like Romero, etc. But now that whole team has potentially won, well, I say potentially, has won a trophy. So there are winners in that team now. So they know how to kind of be under those kind of pressurized situations. But I have to say 6th or 7th in the league, a long way in at least 1 or 2 of the competitions. And yeah, that's kind of where I would sit for him to be like, yeah, carry on. And now, don't get me wrong, my expectations are probably very high after hearing that. But I feel that's what happens when you win a trophy. You want to win more. So that's where I'd kind of sit with it, I think.
What do you think of the appointment, Hollie, Frank? Is that a manager that you've liked in the Premier League?
I can kind of see why. My only thought process is I don't know how he's going to cope in Europe and all these other competitions. People say that he's a great tactician. I'm not going to say that he's not, but I'm just concerned how he's going to deal with competitions. And don't get me wrong, Ange didn't have a lot of kind of experience with competitions, but he did have somewhat, if that makes sense. I don't think Frank doesn't give me a lot of confidence in how he's going to manage all of those games. So yeah, I'm not confident, but I'm also not going to sit here and say, no, I want him gone, because I'm here to see how this kind of goes. And I feel like there's been a lot of things in Tottenham that have slightly changed in terms of obviously the CEO, in terms of how I feel the club are now interacting with fans and wanting fans' opinion a bit more. It gives me a little bit more hope. The thing that doesn't give me hope is the fact that we're still waiting here for certain signings to come through the door. And I feel like we're not doing other things in the background and just ping our hopes on one player. But apart from that, yeah, let's see how it goes.
Yeah, I'm going to come just say something in a minute, Hollie, but I just wanted to read this from Terry, not football related, but being reported that Ozzy Osbourne has passed away. So yeah, very sad news. Rest in peace if this is true. Yeah, Aussie fan, Hollie.
I can't say that I am, but I do know what he's done for the world of music. So
yeah,
yeah.
No, that's sad news. Look, back to what you said. So just kind of like hearing you, doesn't sound like you were that excited that Frank has come in. I mean, was there, before we kind of talk about it a little bit more, was there another manager that you kind of preferred?
To be honest with you, without sounding like a broken record, I kind of wanted to see how the next season would have gone with Ange, if that makes sense.
So you were behind Ange still after winning that trophy?
I think so. And earlier in the year, I kind of said, after he kind of cupped his hands to fans, that kind of sent me over the edge a bit. But after I saw that he was actually prioritising winning the thing, I was kind of a bit like, I'll break that, because you've said what you said at the start of the season. I'll win things in my second season. And you went and did it. And then after that, you kind of get the mic drop and saying like, oh, season 3 is always the best. And I was like, I was ready for it. As much as I know that our season in the Prem was awful, we won a trophy at the end of the day. But then the other argument is that obviously they still had Ten Hag down the road, didn't they? And then 4 months into the season, they got rid of him. So we could have been in that situation. So I get it and I don't get it. I just didn't think there was any other better options to come in and take the reins when the team seemed so together after that final.
Yeah, look, after that final, a lot of fans kind of turned back towards Ange now, because he finally won us a trophy, and I totally got it. I mean, I wanted Ange out for a long, long time. Don't get me wrong, very happy and thankful for him for winning the Europa League, but that doesn't mean I wanted him to stay. I thought we needed somebody else who could like manage the, multiple competitions. But yeah, the Ange talk, it's been a bit crazy. But look, it's just interesting to see, like, so because you didn't want Ange to go, you wanted to see season 3. So when we signed Frank, it was like a little bit kind of, I get it. Because if you wanted him to stay and then, you replace him with Frank, who hasn't really won anything, I get where you're coming from. And many fans feel like that, Hollie. I do. I know a lot of them are kind of getting on board with Frank now, and, they've seen all the videos of how he manages teams, his tactics, strategy, whatever. And they're kind of on board now. And you do, right? You have to get behind your manager. But no, interesting stuff, Hollie. This is something else I was going to say, what you said. Back to expectations. So just want to double check. So you think 6th or 7th he must achieve, and be competitive in the cups. Champions League, I don't think you mentioned that.
No, I didn't. But I think it's going to be too much. I think domestically we might be all right, but I think Champions League might be a stretch too far, especially because obviously we did very well last season, Europa League. But I think that might be too much of a stretch this season, especially if we don't get certain players through the door that we kind of need in the sense of a number 6. But apart from that, the Champions League, I don't think is going to be. I think it's going to be in one of the things he wants to do. I just don't think we're going to have enough firepower and enough kind of, what's the word, his nous to be able to do all of them, if that makes sense.
Yeah, look, it's going to be tough, right? We're so far away from some of those top sides in the league and in Europe without, a really massive, huge transfer window where we kind of upgrade many positions in the first team. It's look, you hope that we kind of give it our best shot, get out of the league format into the knockouts. And when you get into the knockouts, anything can happen, right? You can dream. But realistically, Champions League is going to be really tough. When we're looking at the Premier League, I mean, we've fallen off so much last season, finishing 17th. So my prediction right now, without seeing the end of the transfer window, is if we can get 8th, be competitive in the cup competitions. And I think that's okay in his first season. And then the season after, I'll be setting new targets and goals for him as a manager, and then hoping that the board, they continue to back him, see what he's done, see that there is something coming together, and then they provide the players he needs in the transfer market. I think that's fair, what I said there, or?
I think so. I think that's probably more realistic than what I said was 6th and 7th. I know it's only 2 more places here and there, but I think you're right. I think that would show we're improvement. And I think, I think it's just going to be a very difficult season. I think it's going to be very hard, especially me, to kind of be a bit more grounded. Obviously, the last couple of seasons, I've just been like, yeah, whatever, cool. But now that we've won something, I want to win something again, because I don't want to wait so long for that feeling again. But no, I think you're right. I think 8th is probably a more realistic kind of way to put it, if that makes sense.
I mean, that's minimum. I hope we'll do better than that. But again, it's to do with the signings that at the moment we haven't done a lot. We've signed one first team player, a couple of the potentials. Players have got to get used to Frank's system. There's going to be an adjustment in time. New manager coming in, all of that. A lot of coaching needs to go back into the side after all those defeats last year. So look, there's a lot to do. There's a lot to sort out. There's changes in board level. Many fans are getting frustrated, including myself, about the signings. We just want Spurs to bring them in. We were kind of hoping that they'll be on the plane, right, for the pre-season tour. And you hope that the club can get a couple more in this week. But it's all seems to be a massive struggle. And I know you mentioned it, Hollie, a few minutes ago, that that kind of frustrating. Well, what is the hold up in your eyes, Hollie, with the transfers? Is it because we need to get some out? Is it just, I don't know. What do you think?
I really don't know, because you see other clubs are able to do it. And I don't know whether it's they've got pre-planning. I mean, I'm sure Spurs have pre-planning before we get to this kind of stage. But it does feel sometimes it's all last minute in terms of we put all our eggs into one basket. Obviously, at the moment, Morgan Gibbs-White. It seems that we're putting everything on him, but not actually having anything going on in the background. And don't get me wrong, I'm not an agent. I'm not a footballer. I don't know how these things actually work. But it just really rattles my brain that we haven't gone and done some more business and been like, fine, if you don't want to come or not, they don't want to do business with us, cool, we'll go find an alternative that's at the same kind of level. But we just don't seem to do that. So I really don't know. I don't know whether it's Levy again, getting amongst it, him trying to put his 2-piece in. But it just seems a little bit of a mess, so to speak.
But we've always been like this, Hollie, haven't we? Spurs have always been a slow movers in the transfer market, bringing in players and obviously selling players. We haven't got a lot of clubs trying to buy our players, and it's all there's certain players I think need to be moved on, but then obviously they're perking up saying we want to stay, we want to play in the Champions League, we like the sound of this Frank project, and they don't want to leave, and it's difficult. So the club need to be more ruthless. And I just think that this has just been an ongoing problem for years, and it just holds us back so much. Like Ben Davies, look, he's a servant to the club for many years. And I get him being around the dressing room is good, and he's a good voice experience. But someone like Ben Davies, we shouldn't really be seeing him much. We should be getting in another left back to challenge Udogie. And then, maybe Ben Davies can concentrate on his coach's badge or go to another club that could use his experience. But we keep players too long, Hollie. What do you think?
I think so, because I think we buy them for a fee and then we want to try and sell them on for more. But sadly, that doesn't always happen, and you can't always keep hold of that. I don't think we'll get to the point like we did with I can't remember who it was. I think it was Ndombele, where we ripped up their contract. I don't think we'll ever do that again. But I feel like we just have to bite the bullet and be like, right, we no longer want you here. We found you a club. But I also know that players have a big say in that as well, because if they don't want to leave, they'll just sit there and stink the place out. And that is sadly just football. So I think as much as we want it to be an easy case scenario, I think there's loads of different factors that kind of roll into it. But I do also agree. I think we have been very, not lackluster, but I think we've thought sometimes, no, we can get a few more for him. And then the other clubs put out saying, no, we're not paying that fee. So I think that is part of the problem as well.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how it unfolds in the rest of this transfer window. Right, the season's not that far away, you know. All the pre-season friendlies are starting. Frank needs to get those players in. I mean, just quickly, priority positions for you, Hollie, in this side. Or what do you feel we need, like, quite urgently?
I would say a number 6. I think we all bang on about that. Obviously, as well, you mentioned obviously a left back. We need someone not to be an understudy, but someone that can compete for spaces, because I think there's been far too many times that, not all of us, but some fans have in their head, well, we can't buy him because he'll be number 2. He won't want to sit on the bench. But I think in a competitive team that are wanting to win for things, you've got to have multiple players in multiple positions, not just for competitiveness, but also to mix things up if things aren't working. You've got a different kind of outlet. I'm pleased that we've obviously got Kudus in. I think that's a great addition. I think he will play very well under Frank, and again can kind of adjust where we play him and who we play him with. I think another big concern is obviously in terms of Sonny. I'd love him to have one last hurrah, but I don't think that's going to be the case. I think I read rumours the other day that he'll stay till January. But we need someone like Sonny to come in there, because I feel like the players we've got at the moment, and obviously Tell and all of it, I feel like they're coming on. I just don't think they're Sonny. I know you're never going to buy a Sonny again. You're never going to get the same player again. But someone like that, we need a bit more confidence in Tell and Odobert. But yeah, I think for me, that's my biggest issue at the moment, I would say.
Yeah, there's a lot. And look, it can't all be done in one window, right? You know, players have got to go. Frank's going to need 3 or 4 windows to get his squad looking like what he wants. And then you hope that, you know, the players there, some of the younger players kind of improve under his coaching staff, and that, you know, it all starts to come together. That's the hope, right? That's the hope. And the talk of investment is true, and then we see that, and the combination of, you know, better quality signings, Frank's coaching, time. It all needs time. I know we don't like waiting. We just won a trophy for the first time in 17 years, so there's a little bit of grace there. But you want to see everything going in the right direction, right, the next season. And yeah, I do think there will be definitely an improvement. I don't think we'll lose as many games as we did under Ange. I think it would just be good to see a team defend properly and then attack. And look, yeah, it's going to be fun, right? It's going to be interesting. I mean, I've asked this question to many people. I don't know. I'll ask you: are you excited for next season, Hollie?
I would say so. For me personally, I'm in a bit of a rut. I think last season took it out on me. So at the moment, it's been quite nice to do this, because I've actually been like, actually, no, I am excited for the season to start. But I think where it just took so much out of me last year, in terms of pretty much every week having to talk about a loss, talking about the same thing, I was just like, I'm so happy for the season to be over. And now that it's coming around thick and fast, I'm kind of like, oh wow, I've actually got to start talking about Tottenham again. Don't get me wrong, but I love it when I start, and I will be excited for it. But personally, I've been a bit like, oh, it's nice to have a little bit of a break, if that makes sense.
Well, it was a roller coaster last year, Hollie, right? There was, you know, you must have not been happy losing every week. And then obviously we all hoped that we'd, you know, get somewhere in that Europa League, and we finally did it. And it was just a mix of emotions. And for me as well, like, you know, when we won that trophy, I mean, I was a mess. I don't know about you, but I was an absolute state, because it was such a really, really difficult and challenging season. You know, all those defeats, kind of just that loss of why Ange didn't adapt. Why didn't he change things in the Premier League? I know we had a lot of injuries. But for me, it was just, once we got it over the line and we won it, I mean, it was just, I think a lot of it was kind of relief, because it'd been so long. And yeah, what a mad season, Hollie. How was that experience for you?
Oh, I don't want to do it again. Obviously, I want to win again. But yeah, like I say, just every week obviously chatting to people on a show and then having to talk about the same thing. Oh, we've conceded another goal from a set piece. Oh, we've played a high line again. Oh, this person's injured again. What are we going to do this week? It was just rinse and repeat. And it was so frustrating. I was losing my head every week. And then come the weekdays when we had a Europa game, it was like a totally different kind of thing. And I'm so grateful that we have won it. But I can't do that again next season. I mean, if we win a trophy, I'll do it again. But I can't do that week in, week out in the Premier League. It's just too much.
So
Because
do you think Ange could have got it right then? I don't really want to talk much about Ange because we've had that conversation so many times. But do you think it would have got a lot better under Ange, because he would have been in the Champions League this season? It would have been even more challenging. How do you think it could have gone? Because I don't know what he would have suddenly done to change. Because what really frustrated me, Hollie, is that when he did adapt to Europa, which was great, got us the results, got us to the final and win it. When he went back to the Premier League, he just went back to his kind of same way of playing. I just totally baffled by that. Do you have an explanation?
I sadly don't know how his mind works, but I think I can tell that he's a very stubborn geezer. And I think he was so adamant that he wanted his style to work in the Premier League because he probably got told so many times. I mean, all of us were probably saying his style of play doesn't work in the Prem. Like, it's not going to work. So he was probably under the illusion that, you know what, I'm just going to keep doing it anyway because I'm stubborn. I'm still in the Europa League. They're not going to sack me. So I'm going to make sure that we play this way and it's going to work. And sadly, it didn't work. I think, obviously, hindsight's a beautiful thing. And so is being someone that can look into a crystal ball and look forward. I think he would change it and call me crazy, but I think he would, because he has then obviously going to have to change it. Otherwise, he's going to get sacked if he carries on playing the way he's playing in the Prem. But I do also get, again, hindsight, that it is a wonderful thing because, like you say, it's 4 months' time, we could be in exactly the same position and we haven't done that. We wouldn't be able to do it in this kind of transition period of pre-season. So I do get it. I think I'm also stubborn at the fact that I just wanted to see season 3, I think. And some people will call me crazy and I get it. But yeah,
no, you're not the only one, Hollie. You know, that's how you feel, isn't it? After that experience of winning the Europa, and he actually followed through with what he said. So look, I get it. You know, it was tough season for all the fans last year, wherever you were, wherever you sat. If you supported Ange, you didn't. Yeah, it was a roller coaster. I think that's a kind of good description for it. Ending with like glory, right? And this is what, being a Spurs fan, we want. Yeah, glory, winning trophies, that feeling of winning. It's amazing, right? We haven't had it enough. You know, the last time was against Chelsea in the Carling Cup, which is fantastic. It's been too long. This club, you know, it's such a big club. The history, amazing fan base, yeah, fantastic players over the years, managers. You know, we should be winning more regularly. I'm not saying every year; it's impossible, right? You know, we're up against some big teams, but I think that the board, you know, they could have done more, and a lot of it's to do with the transfers and paying the wages, etc. But yeah, look, it's it's a lot of a big conversation to have. But let's move on. It's just a couple more questions for you because I know you want to shoot off and watch the England game. So let's get through them. So if you were in charge of Tottenham for 24 hours with full control, what 3 decisions would you make immediately? No compromise.
Oh my word. What would I do? I would obviously sign some new players. That might be on the list. I think ideally get another left back. I think as well, I would then make sure and check in with my CEO that we are finally getting things in order to connect back with the fans. And I do think we are slowly doing that. Then the second thing, if I was in control, I would, what would I do? God, that's such a big question. You could tell by 8 o'clock, my brain goes into mush as well because I can't think. I would make sure I give the manager an open door to tell me if he had any concerns, because I feel sometimes that might not be the case. Again, I'm not a fly on the wall, so I don't know. But I feel like communication would be better at Spurs if that was a thing. Not saying it isn't, but I would make sure that open line of communication was always open.
Okay, so that's the 3. So just go over that again quickly. So it's players in.
Players in, Get a what was it? Glazing, get a left back. Open line of communication. What was the bloody second thing I said? I can't remember. Not be forgetful.
No, it's a tough question, isn't it? You know,
That is a tough
what
one.
would you do if you were Levy? If you were, you know, somebody on that board who could really make a big decision on, you know, which is really going to impact on the kind of team and where it's going in that moment of time. Like, yeah,
get the naming rights to the stadium sorted.
Yeah. That what's going on with that, Hollie? Like, surely we should have had someone by now. What are they waiting for?
I really don't know. Honestly, the thing is, I know it's not all down to one man, but it is who you employ as well. And maybe we haven't got enough personnel or the right person trying to make that deal done, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you there. Yeah, look, yeah, there was just talk about it a couple of weeks ago, isn't it? This investment, like, because we spent that 50, was it? No, how much was it on Kudos again? 55, was it? 55?
I think so. Something in that region.
And then there was like 60 million on Morgan Gibbs White, and we're thinking, cool, this is different. Don't normally do that. So here we goes. And then it's just all petered out. It's just all gone back to normal. And like all that excitement and hype is dying by the day. Just hope it picks back up. It must do. It has to. Okay, one more question, and then I'm just going to ask you to ask me a question in a second. Let me just get it up. So, what's a deeply unpopular Spurs opinion you believe but are tired defending?
Oh my God. You're really picking my brain. Jesus.
Yeah, getting you to work tonight, getting you to think.
Deeply unpopular Spurs opinion. I've probably had a few, to be fair. Probably the one that I keep banging on tonight, because I haven't actually realised that I am a massive Ange defender, which is unreal. So I didn't think that was a thing that I had in my locker. Yeah, I guess maybe seeing it out for a third season, I guess. I feel like I'm cheating slightly because I'm going back on what I've already said tonight. But off the top of my head, maybe that would be it, I guess. I mean, there's been lots of things. Obviously, I've defended Harry Winks before. But yeah, I'd probably say Harry Winks or Ange.
Okay, fair enough. Right, any questions for me, Hollie, before we close down the show?
Let me have a think.
Anything burning that, you know, what we've gone over quite a lot tonight. So I know I've kind of been saying stuff as well. So you kind of got a little idea of what I'm thinking about the season and stuff. But anything that you want to ask me?
I would say, obviously, if Morgan Gibbs White doesn't happen, who would you want Spurs to go and get? Who would be your top target that you think would be realistic?
Top target?
Mm-hmm.
So I think, you know, we massively need something in that middle of the park. We need Morgan Gibbs White as well, but we need that kind of more that defensive type player, somebody who can dictate play, control the ball. Somebody there. We're lacking so much in that area. We have good midfielders, okay midfielders, but we don't really have any standout ones. And that position is so important to the team. And, you know, when you ask me which one, I mean, I did really like the Wharton links. It made a lot of sense. He's got so much potential. That guy's performing in the Premier League, just won the FA Cup. He's a sort of player that, you know, you can keep control of the ball, keep it ticking, cut out passes. He's only young, he's English. It makes a lot of sense. But, you know, you have to be realistic as a Spurs fan, right? I may want to go and sign this world-class player from this club, but we're just not at that stage right now, are we? We're not. We can't go and get the best players from the best teams. We just can't, and it's just how it is. So it's like realistically, Wharton would be a great signing. I do think we need strength in our forward line. Solanke, you know, you can't do it all. You can't rely on Richarlison because he's very injury prone. So we need another striker, or you maybe need a forward player who can attack. You can play left and through the middle. You know, kind of can do both jobs. Happy with Kudos. But look, it's a really difficult question to like answer when you know that the club, you know, they can only go just for certain players. Morgan Gibbs-White, I'm really happy with, because that gives us that kind of strength in depth in midfield. Madison is also another player who's injured a lot, so I totally get that. English as well, so that's good. So yeah, maybe Wharton off the top of my head. You know, there's other players I'd love to see at Spurs, but you know, it's unrealistic, so I'm not even going to mention their names. Any other questions for me, Hollie?
To be honest with you, I think you've absolutely pulled my brain apart. I can't think of any.
Okay, no problem, no problem. No, look, big up to everyone in the chat for watching. I hope you enjoyed the show. Hollie's very keen to go and watch the England match, so I don't want to keep her any longer. I totally get that. It's just the timing of things. But guys, thank you for watching. Two Marks and Nige Pure Coys are going live now, so please go over and give them a watch. I will put their I'll share their channel in the chat, so go over there and join them. And also please subscribe to Hollie, give her a sub if you haven't. And yeah, just a big thank you, Hollie, for coming on. It's been lovely to meet you. Really interesting conversation. And yeah, let's hope England get to that final, eh?
Fingers crossed. But no, thank you for having me. And like I say, sorry for being here, there and everywhere, but I'm glad we actually sat down. And apologies as well that the England game's on, because obviously I would have loved to chat for a bit longer. But no, thank you very much for having me. You can tell I'm in like host mode and I'm talking to you. Sorry.
And yeah, and also, like, you know, me and Nice do shows on a Tuesday normally, and it's going to be a little bit tricky next season because we've got the Champions League matches. So I don't know how we're going to deal with that yet. But you know, we get on different guests. We like to try and get on a different range of people as possible. So you know, if you're around, if you'd like to, you're always welcome to come onto the show. It'll be like a panel show. We talk about the game. You know, you're used to all of that, aren't you?
No, definitely. Like I say, same invitation to you as well. I'm just haven't been very organised so far this season. So if you fancy it, I'll reach out. Definitely.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, definitely. So yeah, lovely to meet you again. And please, people in the chat, if you haven't, please smash the like button. Please subscribe to myself and Hollie. And as always, come on, you Spurs. Good night, guys.